I'm Michael, you're watching Vinyl for Miles, and this is the 5 stereotypes with vinyl collecting. Stay tuned. Now, whether you've been collecting for 10 years, 5 years, you just started last month, if you've told anybody that you collect records, at some point in your life you've been lumped into a stereotype. Today we're going to talk about 5 of those stereotypes and have a little fun, see if you fall into one or two of these categories. I mean, it's no secret that vinyl in 2019 is one of the most popular physical mediums out right now. These vinyl plants are through the roof with orders. Along with the popularity comes all kinds of stereotypes. Let's take a look, all right? So the first stereotype we're going to talk about is the audiophile. Now, I consider myself a partial audiophile, but you know who I'm talking about. The guy who has the $20,000 setup, top of the line speakers, top of the line turntable, every accessory you can imagine, the $800 power conditioner. Yes, I'm talking about the audiophiles. Those who have the insane system that sounds superb to any other medium. If you've been lumped into that category and you don't own a $20,000 system, I've had people accuse me, oh, you're just an audiophile. You're never happy. Oh, you just listen to records because you think it's the best, the purest medium, right? If you are an audiophile, more power to you. I wish I could have a $20,000 system. I wish I had the top end speakers, but I make do with what I have. So my current setup, I have Harman Kardon amp, I have some Paradigm speakers, Audio-Technica LP5 turntable. I mean, my whole setup's not worth much more than a few grand. It sounds great for what I want and then have to bust the bank. So you can still get crazy good quality without having to spend that kind of cash. All right, so the second stereotype we're going to talk about is the nostalgic collector. Whether you collected in the 70s or you're collecting now, nostalgia, you don't have to be 50 years old to have the nostalgic factor when it comes to collecting records. Like, I was raised in the 90s, I was born in the late 80s. I didn't have records in my house other than my dad's old collection that he kept in the closet. I would buy cassette tapes and I would buy CDs. I still collect stuff I had on cassette and CD on vinyl because it brings back that warm feeling of my childhood. I mean, there's bands like Goo Goo Dolls, Megadeth, Metallica, all kinds of bands I listened to as a kid. I had their cassettes, and now as an adult, I'm going back and I'm trying to find the coolest pressing, the coolest variant. It's like, I used to listen to this back in the day, so I want to own this. I want the physical, I want the 12-inch, I want that artwork up on my wall. Yeah, the nostalgic collector. All right, so the next stereotype I want to talk about is pretty much handed out like candy, and it is the hipster. Now, at some point, if you've told someone you've collected records, it's bound to happen. Someone's going to call you a hipster. Now, why do they call you a hipster? Well, it beats me. Maybe they think, oh, you're going to go against the grain. You're going to collect records. You think you're cool. You think you're better than everybody else. Whatever. I've been called a hipster more than one time. Just let it brush off your shoulder. Keep moving forward. Hipsters change. I'm in my early 30s. I remember hipsters were those people who rode fixies and drank craft beers. Now everybody rides bikes and everybody drinks craft beers. There's like 15 craft beer places in my neighborhood alone. It's the most common one. It's kind of like a bad word these days. It's like, oh, you're a hipster. People get so offended, but dude, just roll with it. Who cares? If they want to call you a hipster, it's like, yeah, I'm a hipster. I got a great record collection. I enjoy supporting artists and I enjoy high quality audio. Oh well. Okay, so the next stereotype we're going to talk about is my least favorite. Now I'm talking about the people who resell. People who are in it to make money, the resellers. You know who I'm talking about. These are the people who stand in line for record releases. They get the most rare records possible. They keep it in the plastic wrap, they put it in the closet, sit on it for 4 or 5 years, and they resell it. They're trying to make some big bucks. They're trying to get rare records. They're trying to pretty much boost the market. Now, I've been collecting for quite a few years, and I remember back when I can get a record for 16 bucks, brand new record for $16 to $20. Now, with prices jacked up, I mean, everyone's probably spending on average $25 to $35 for a record, not including shipping and tax. So it can be pretty expensive. I've sold records. I've collected stuff that's very expensive and I've resold it. But the difference between myself and someone who resells just to make the money, I take all the proceeds and I buy more records. So if you're gonna buy, sell, trade, nothing wrong with that. That's an amazing part of this hobby, is that you can get something you're passionate about, get a release that you really, really want, listen to the crap out of it, and then if there's something else that comes out, you go through your collection and say, hey, what's worth the most? I'm in a pinch right now. How about I sell this box set, use those proceeds to pre-order this next release that's coming out? Nothing wrong with that. We're talking about those people who buy up and sell and just try to make the money and try to boost the market. So this stereotype can just get out of here. All right. Now the final stereotype that we're going to talk about is the snobs, the elitists. You've been labeled a snob because you collect records. That's very common. Kind of goes along with like the hipster label, but the snob label is even worse because people assume, look at this guy. Oh, he listens to records because he smells his own farts. He thinks he's so better than everyone else. He can't stand the sound of MP3, so he has to collect these expensive records. Yeah, there are snobs out there. If you're one of those snobs, sorry. Continue what you're doing, I don't care. But the biggest thing you gotta keep in mind is, if you're listening to music, that's all that matters. All right, so if you listen to CDs, you listen to cassettes, if you want to download high-res FLAC files, if you want to listen to records, you name it. If you want to listen to 8 tracks, which is making kind of a resurgence too, I'm surprised to see people still making those. I mean, go for it. All that matters is that you're A, buying music or paying some kind of subscription to help support the artist, B, listening to music, C, talking about it. People label you the snob, let all these roll off your shoulders, laugh about it, and move on. As long as you're listening to music, that's all that matters. Don't go judging other people. If someone thinks a cassette tape sounds better than a record, or if someone thinks a CD sounds better than a cassette, who cares? Entertain them, whatever. Just move on, all right? So these were the 5 stereotypes that I've personally experienced myself. If you've experienced them before, leave something in the comments. If you fall under some of these categories, like I would consider myself somewhat of an
audiophile and somewhat of the nostalgic collector. Those are the 2 that I would fall under. Not a big deal. Who cares? It's fun.
I mean, these you gotta laugh. You gotta just think about this and just laugh sometimes. Just get out there, buy physical music, keep talking about it, go to shows, go to events, just have fun, all right, guys? So this is Vinyl for Miles. I hope you check out some of my other videos, and I hope you enjoy this. All right, thanks.